missions advocates. This is GlobalCASTresources.com.
Welcome to another episode of GlobalCAST, coming to you from sunny South Africa. It's a great place to be hanging out here, strategizing for how we can reach the world. And I get to hang out with Fred. Welcome.
Thank you, Kevin.
Yeah, I'm really excited about some of the things I've been hearing about your ministry, and I just would love if you could share some of those things that you're seeing, some of the things you're passionate about with us. So just give us a little context.
Okay, we work in the northern part of Mozambique.
Okay.
We've worked there for 8 years in the city, trying to get the church planters, the Mozambicans that we work with, to try to get them into the villages.
Okay.
So, without success. So we thought, so why don't these people go? And all the new missionaries that come in, they all came into the city. And we thought, but why don't they go to the villages? There are so many villages with no gospel presentation, and no churches. Why don't they go there? And then the Lord told us, but why don't you go? So that was a new thought. So God started speaking to us, and we realized God's calling us.
Okay.
We have been established in the country. We have our documents ready. We know the national language.
Beautiful.
So we are in a situation where we can move out to the village.
Right.
So we shared that with our team, and then some of the other guys, the Mozambicans, said, but God has also been speaking to us.
So they just said, we want to do it too.
Yes.
Oh, amazing.
So God has already been working in their hearts, because we realized working from the city into the villages doing church planting is not a good strategy.
Okay.
We need to live amongst the people.
Yes.
So these guys said, we want to go. So we said 3 days. We went to the lakeside. 3 days prayer and fasting. We seek God's face. God, where do you want us to go?
Right.
And all of us came out with the same answer.
Really?
Yeah. So
so you're just praying, and it could be any one of thousands of places, and He says the same one.
That's right. It's just we all felt the same thing.
Beautiful.
We need to go to Itipela. It's a village we've been involved in as a team in that village.
Okay.
And the king of that village actually he's shown he's interested in the gospel.
Amazing.
And he wants to follow Christ.
Yeah.
So when we prayed about it, God showed all of us this is the place where we need to go. So it took us a few years of preparation. We did a leadership training school together.
Okay, good. So real team building and stuff.
We did a SFM, School of Frontier Missions.
Yeah.
The ones of us that has been there was on staff, and the other ones that hasn't been on the school was students.
Beautiful.
And we formed a team. And it was really great, because this is not a team of foreigners, but a team of foreigners with Mozambicans.
Absolutely.
And they can reach their own people much better than we can.
Yeah.
So we moved out to the village, started learning the language, building relationships, and these Mozambicans are wonderful missionaries.
What are some of the things you're seeing that are happening with their involvement?
Yeah, you see, they can get so much closer to the local people than we can.
Yeah.
So we find out things about the culture that we would never
Real
know.
insights.
Yeah, Pedro was invited to be part, to come and film some of the traditional dances and things.
Wow.
Some of the secret stuff like the circumcision, they just let him be part. And in our village, Pedro is seen as one of the elders now.
Wow.
So in the elders meeting, they invite Pedro to come and sit in, one of our church planters.
Amazing.
And he's much younger than the other people, but he has so much wisdom in just knowing Jesus.
So what's the potential here? I mean, where could this go?
You see, we felt we should learn to swim, do church planting, and then teach others to swim, to go and train others.
Right.
But then the last few years, the Lord has really laid in our hearts that not to first learn something and then go and do it, but while we're learning, to teach others.
Beautiful.
So we're taking along the Mozambicans, and God is just doing something amazing in Mozambique and in our whole region. When we got together a few years ago for our national conference, of the YWAMers, more than half had church planting on their hearts. That's what they felt God wanted them to do.
This is a national conference, and they're all like half of them are just like church planting.
Church planting. When we broke up into groups in the different ministries, more than half the people were at the church planting group. We were a big group.
Wow.
So we said, okay, we need to train these guys.
Yeah.
So we said, let's do an SFM.
Yeah.
So we did our first SFM in the city.
Yeah.
And then this last year, we we tried to get a place because we were in the village. Where should we do it? And in the end, God just worked it out to show us that we should do it in the village where we live.
Amazing.
So now we train local Mozambicans as church planters.
Right.
And the staff are all church planters. So it's people with experience.
Yes.
And, the vicinity, just where we are, is one of the teachers.
Yeah. Of course.
Because they live amongst an unreached people group now. They see how we do the ministry.
Right.
They see what God is doing. And their faith gets built up.
Amazing. And this is a Muslim context, isn't it? I mean,
that's right. We live in a Muslim village, so just about all the people are Muslim.
Incredible.
But the people are very open to us. We focused on relationships. The way we came into the village was speaking to the elders, and so we try to build relationships, to make friends with the people, and then to bring the gospel.
Just briefly, what are some of the CP principles that you guys are hoping for? You want to see multiplication. What does that mean? For us who don't know church planting talk.
So we want to keep it simple. Yeah. The churches we start, we get the new believers together, and we want them to be a family for one another. You see, because they're Muslim, they get shunned by their family. Right. So we need to create a new family for these young believers. Yes. And there's such a unity between these guys.
Strong bond.
Now, we encourage them to make fields, not to be dependent on their family for food. So now they went, and all of them went to one man's land, and they all worked on one man's land. Then the next day they work on the other man's land, and the next day on the other man's land. Wow. And they helped each other to get a good crop. Each of them had a good crop during the past year.
Amazing. And that can become a model for others then.
Yeah, because in the old times, the Yaos used to do that.
Oh, okay.
They used to help each other.
Right.
But that has gone away. It's part of the culture. But they've lost it somehow. And now the church is redeeming that.
Beautiful.
And even with the first fruits coming out of those fields, during the meeting, they just brought it to the meeting, to our small, simple church. Me as a foreigner, I don't go to the simple church. It's led by Mozambicans.
Mozambicans.
And we just help with the leadership training. Yeah. So they brought their first fruits, put it in the middle, and they worshiped God for it. Traditionally, they take it to the grave of the ancestors, and they would dedicate it to the ancestors, and so now they worship God for it, and they made maize meal of that, and they had a feast between them, and they ate it together and had a feast with the Lord. Yeah,
I love it. I love it.
So in terms of multiplication, we try to keep it simple, local leaders, so that it can multiply fast, and that they don't rely on foreign funds. Yeah. We try. We don't pay any leaders. It's all lay leaders, and we do the training, and we get them to a stage where the house church will grow, and then when they want to start another one, some people of this church will go and start another church. So that way we multiply without breaking the fellowship of the group. That group will stay together for the rest of their lives. Wow. And then out of that, small churches start. Yeah.
Amazing. That's amazing. And are you seeing cross-cultural stuff that's being born?
Absolutely. With the guys we train, we see people going to other people groups.
Amazing.
Unreached people groups, Mozambicans. Like the guys working with us.
This is incredible, and they're just now receiving it, but they're already going.
That's right. We went to Mozambique to work with the Makua people, which was at that stage the biggest unreached people group in the Southern Hemisphere. Okay. But when we got there, we saw there are Makua churches already. Okay. Yeah. So we started focusing on the Yao because there were no Yao churches. Yes. Yeah. But now the Makuas are working with us to reach the Yao.
Amazing.
So on our church planting team, we have a Lomwe, which is Pedro, and we have a Makua, which is Geraldo, and they're working to see the Yao side. And just this concept that a Makua will come, live amongst the Yaos, and learn their language is just something they've never thought about.
Mind-blowing.
Yeah, it is mind-blowing. And now we really see that God uses that. Yeah. Geraldo, as a Makua, when the chief's counselor got sick, he went to the chief's counselor every day, and he bathed him. Wow. And he gave him food. Wow. Because his family was at the field, and they think if the guy's old, they just leave him to die.
Amazing.
But he got better. And he testified, Jesus is the king. He hasn't made the step yet. Right. But he has seen something of Jesus' love through Geraldo. And he publicly declared, out of all my sons, referring to his own children, there's not one like Geraldo, Louisa Makua.
Wow, that is such a validation and testimony. Incredible. I'm just so excited about some of the things you're seeing, and it's hopeful for other contexts. I think we could be encouraged by the model that you're seeing.
Thank you. I think the principles that we just go with God's love.
Right.
It doesn't matter who the people are.
Right.
And you don't need money. It's not about the money. If it becomes something about the money, it's going to be a problem.
Right.
And these guys, they just go because they have a passion for Jesus.
Yeah.
And they go and bring the gospel to other people groups.
Beautiful.
Something unheard of
Beautiful.
in Mozambique. It has such an impact on the local people.
Incredible. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for your precious time and for telling a bit of your story.
No, you're welcome.
I hope you were encouraged by that. Thanks for tuning into this episode of GlobalCAST, and we invite you to live the story.
The whole church bringing the whole gospel to the whole world. This is GlobalCASTresources.com.